It's a funny hat.
It is a funny hat.
It's a funny hat for a serious subject.
I think that's why it's good. I think you should have a serious hat. I mean, a funny hat. Funny hat. So when we talk about something really silly, you should have like on a brown derby or
a brown derby? What is a derby?
It's a hat.
I think I would chop off my head if I had a big tail.
All right.
So today we're going to talk about a problem that Tammy has.
We decided to go live instead of be all fancy schmancy.
Yeah, none of this. It takes too long to do that. All right.
Well, you did a really good post yesterday. It was long, but it was really good and important.
Sorry, I won't get so sermon-y next time.
It was a sermon. It was pretty much a sermon. It was really good.
That's the pastor in me.
Yeah, it's good. But today we're going to talk about ED. What's ED?
You tell me. It's your problem.
Erectile dysfunction.
Tammy's been having issues.
Apparently, I can't get it up. I don't know. See, this is why we have our own group, because I feel more comfortable talking with all of you about that.
Why do they come together?
So I have this problem that I'm really trying to address. No, it's actually come to our attention. We've had a few people message us about these issues occasionally, and you know, whether it's chronic or whether it happens once in a while, it's an issue. And so what do you do about it?
Yep.
Do you just kind of sweep it under the rug? Not literally.
You don't need this anymore. Under the rug.
Okay. No Bobbit stories here. Or do you...
Hello, my name is Bobbit.
Is that why the voice? So what do you do? What do you do when, you know, and we are 40. Well, you're 41.
Wow, just throw me under the bus.
You'll always be 4 months older than me.
Every guy is going to have this issue eventually. I think we watched Seinfeld last night.
I know, that was the funniest
Both George
part.
and Seinfeld were in the bed going, how come you won't rise to the occasion?
Exactly.
So
I think, and I thought it was funny that they both said we're overthinking it.
Yeah.
And that totally, I think, could be the case.
It is, a lot of it's mental. And the problem with it, and I did a bunch of research, so the problem with it being mental is that once you have that issue, maybe a couple of times where you just can't sustain or
erection.
You can't sustain an erection, or it just goes soft in the middle, or you just can't get it up right when you're about to do it. Then the next time, that's almost top of mind, so then you continually get into the cycle of self-sabotage, and you can't get out of it. So
how do you get out of it?
How do you get out of it? There are a couple of things that you could do to get out of it. One would be oral sex. So if you're in the middle of having sex and during it, and it just goes away, performing oral sex usually can solve the problem.
The woman?
The woman performing it on the man can solve the problem and regenerate it, and then you guys can finish. So, yeah, this is very touchy.
Get it back up there.
As I turn,
are you a little nervous?
Yeah.
That's your hat.
I matched that. But
or the other way around.
But that's the good way.
Or the other way
or
around.
Or the other way around, right.
Okay, let's stop doing that for a minute, and let's, focus on the woman. And let's focus on her orgasm and getting her really excited and fondling her, going down on her, whatever it takes to kind of get her back into the mood and whatever, so that it's not a frustration thing. You haven't stopped everything. You haven't just given up. You've
adjusted the play. And
That's a good way to put it.
That works as well. If you go soft in the middle, then shift and focus on her, and then if you happen to get back again, then you can go back to what you're doing. So that works a lot of the time, and a lot of times that's just kind of being there in the moment and for the journey, like, wow, that just happened, switch, now I'm going to play with your breast and go down on you. Well, I guess it's that's
difficult, because I think that's growing and maturing in your sexual life, because I will say, a lot of times, not a lot of times,
90%.
No. I'm just saying, if that happens.
Thanks.
I know.
I didn't know where you were going.
No, if that's happened in the
Here's
past.
Here's the bus. There goes Tim.
We'll get frustrated. Both of us will get frustrated, and we'll just give up and quit, and then nobody's satisfied, and everybody's just agitated and irritated even more than they were before, and it's not good. So we've really, really tried to adjust and change things up when that happens, because it does happen, and the older you get, the more it can happen. Did you want to say more on that?
I guess it's the difference between looking at sex as racing to the orgasm, or
the destination
or
the journey.
Going for the journey. And so, if you start looking at sex as a journey,
the process
rather
of intimacy,
rather than a completion contest, then
that's kind of fun sometimes too.
Who gets their first win? Rather than a completion, rather than completion is the thing, rather than intimacy as actually what you're there for.
Yeah.
You're not there for just to get off.
Yeah.
You're there for to be intimate.
That's hard to wrap your mind around.
Once you get to the point of, hey, I'm here for intimacy, and it kind of sounds more like tantric sex, but it's really not. If you're there for the intimacy and you're enjoying that your partner is being fulfilled intimately, then you kind of fulfill one another. And there are times where you just won't, but both of you are fulfilled. Or that you do change positions and change activities, and then you get back into the game again, per se. So there's just a lot of things that you can do in the bedroom if it happens in the middle of doing it. There are a ton of things that you could do prior to prevent it.
But also, I think that's a good segue into the next little bit, because it's not just your age or just randomly happen. There are a lot of reasons this happened. It could be medications that someone is on. It could be that they've looked at a lot of porn, and now with their spouse, they can't get an erection. There could be a lot of different things that are really causing this. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important to get to the source of that. If you're good with, if it's just a factor of, haven't been, what am I trying to say? You've been on medication, or I've totally lost.
I don't know where you're going.
Woo! The train came and took my brain.
But I'll take it. Yeah, she doesn't have a brain that I'm aware of.
Wow. I don't know where I was going. I think the dog scratched at the door, and it just completely...
Okay, so things that you can do to prevent Mr. Squishy. Hold on.
No, don't leave me just because the dog wants to come in.
Well, it's going to come here.
Anyway, don't be opposed to medicine, let me tell you that.
All right.
Because if there is medicine that can help this issue, don't be so prideful. You're like, I don't need Viagra. I don't need that.
I don't know anyone that does that. Anyways, so... dig. Things that you can do to prevent it. The very first thing that you can do is change your diet so you're more healthy eating. If you go to McDonald's every day, that's not actually helpful for an erection. Yeah. Change your eating, eat healthy, eat more fruits and vegetables. Go for longer walks. Walks actually do a lot to raise your testosterone as a guy. So raise your testosterone by walking. Working out, lifting weights, not going to the gym and running 50 miles. Lifting weights really raises your testosterone. So, I would bump you up, kind of be that guy at the gym, and you will notice that your attraction and desire and everything just kind of starts working once you start lifting weights.
There are other things.
I was still going. I was just...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Other changes that you can make. Alcohol. If you really want to solve the problem, dump alcohol. If you're smoking pot because it's legal, stop smoking pot. If you're taking other medications or supplements that can cause it and can increase it, it just kind of depends on what you want to do. Talk to your doctor. Give Viagra a try. Just walk in and say, I don't want to try it, and see if it works. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, then try Cialis.
And try abstinence as well. If you guys have sex a lot. Abstinence. Not absinthe.
Yeah, no alcohol, but absinthe, just down that crap. It helps.
No, abstinence. If you guys have sex a lot and you find it's happening 2 or 3 times a week, which we don't normally say cut back, but cut back a little bit. Yeah. Give your body a chance to re-up again and kind of re-energize and go for it again.
And pornography is a big thing. Remove pornography entirely.
Yeah.
And
so that your spouse is the one that really turns you on.
And then that will help. And then, ladies, there are things that we have conversations with. Like if I want to have sex multiple days in a row, I could say, hey, all you have to do is, tease me, or just say, hey, postpone it. And that's a good thing to do. Women tend to want foreplay for days before you actually have sex.
Not actual sexual foreplay. Like getting us in the mood, being loving and kind and serving us.
But for guys, you may have to be a little more sexual, but that's the whole point. Tease them.
Yeah.
Tease your guy until it's to the point of, I don't want to be teased anymore, let's go do some bad things. But you know what I mean? When's the last time you just teased your husband? When's the last time you touched him sexually, went down on him just because, again,
without the goal
without
of
the
orgasm.
finish.
Yeah.
Just, hey, I'm going to do this for 2 minutes and we're done.
That might drive some men like nuts, though.
Well, that's the whole entire point, is if you drive him nuts,
and then tell him there is a
tell
finish
him
line
when the
coming
finish line, when the end date is. Hey, for today
me
I'm going to drive you insane, and tomorrow we're going to go on a date and have fun. Then at least he's fully paying attention to you because he's looking at the finish line, or I am, because that's the way I am wired. But you kind of get the idea. You can tease, you could play, you could do a bunch of things before the night, and then on the night you've already primed the pump, for example.
And another thing is, if the man is experiencing this and doesn't have a desire, but the woman does, and it's not happening and it's not satisfying her, this is where a lot of communication needs to happen. You guys need to gracefully and non-judgmentally have conversations that, baby, I need your touch, I need your love, I need you to massage me, I need you to hug me and hold me, I need touch. Even if that's an issue or an ongoing issue in your marriage, it doesn't mean that intimacy has to stop either. There are people that have been very ill or have had cancer that still have intimacy in their relationship. Regardless of the final orgasm of sex, it still is intimacy. It's holding each other in bed at night. It's spooning. It's cuddling. It's giving each other what you need in that real intimacy. And men can still absolutely give their woman an orgasm without actual intercourse.
Yeah.
So talk about how that's possible and how you can work through that. But it really is coming to the intimacy of communication too. Not just physical intimacy, but intimacy in communication.
Your husband should know how to touch you to give you an orgasm. If your husband cannot touch you to give you an orgasm, then you need to coach him along through that process, which again
what feels good.
would be fun.
This is what doesn't feel good. And I think it's maturity when you hear that this doesn't feel good, rather you going, I can't do anything right. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's just that doesn't feel as good as this does. And really be honest. And you tell them exactly where to touch you, how to touch you, how soft or how hard to touch you. Yeah.
We call that playing doctor. And it might be just time you play doctor. What?
My doctor does not ask me those questions.
Well, you know what I mean. Just lay naked, give him a stethoscope, and say, have fun. Your body is mysterious and a wonderland, and it's only a wonderland if you let us wander around. So help us figure it out. Should be the opposite.
Need help.
The
they
opposite
need help.
way as well. What I mean? He should lay down and go, this is what I like. When you do this, I like it when you really do this.
You might find something really unique about your partner that you didn't know.
But you have to have the open conversation and feel comfortable enough with one another to be naked. Because you're having sex anyway, so you might as well just say, hey, here's my body. Have fun. I'll let you know when you have something right, and I'll coach you along through it. Be great.
Yes.
Hey, what do you say? Need a doctor's visit?
You've been trying all day long.
It's the hat. The hat.
Yeah, that hat turns me on. Tell you what. All right. So we're going to give everybody a teaser out on regular Facebook Live.
And you don't need to watch it because you've watched this thing.
Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. We love you guys. So feel free to message us with questions. We are talking about this.
Yeah.
You don't tease anybody with ED. You know that.